Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live from the Flipping Made Easy studio right here in beautiful, freaking freezing Matawan, New Jersey. This is such bullshit at this point. I
thought it was spring, man.
so over it.
I'm not trying to deal with this right now.
I hate New Jersey, and I'm out of here as soon as I very well possibly can. It is Sturch, it is Gooch. We are broadcasting you live, coming to you live from the Cabinet Creations Sports Desk right here. You can visit those guys. Their link is right on our website. Be sure, it's my Uncle Billy. He's about to build an extension on my house. So clearly I won the lottery overnight. Nobody knows about it. So I've kept that quiet because I don't want people to like, hey, man, remember me? I'm cousin number 6. And like, oh, I need money. No, I didn't hit the lottery. But Chop Sports did. In fact, they will, because we're about to embark on 1,000 subscribers. We are so close as we picked up another 15 yesterday. Let's see. 15. And now we're up to 946. So we're inching our way there. We have these. I do it like once a day. I'm beating the algorithms. I'm beating the algorithms over the head. I'm saying like, F you, Twitter. Like, I'm going to just say, go link on my bio so people actually see the tweet. And there's been a lot of response on the Twitter machine. So that's cool. But good morning, everybody in the chat right now. There is a link at the top of the chat. That's how to join the show. I'm talking to you, James Rube, in just a little bit, because I know you said you had to join the show because we were going to be talking some NBA today, because we're going to have a new segment, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But if you want to support Chop Sports in any way possible, you can do so by going over to patreon.com/Chop Sports, $3, $5, $10 increments. It means the world to us, keeps the lights on in this place, keeps us going, and keeps us improving. Like yesterday, for instance, it's the big purchases that we talk about from time to time again. You hit me up saying, hey, bought a printer. I'm just like, yes, let's go.
Investment. We invested in
a printer. We already had a printer. We just wanted a wireless.
We need a wireless.
Yeah, we need a wireless printer.
2022.
The old one, yeah, exactly. The old one's a little older. But yeah, so I hope everybody's doing well out there. Yesterday, by the way, I will say that I did ride the sauces picks again for the NBA. Went 5-2, including a parlay. So crushed that. My bankroll is now over. I'm up to 12 units officially when it comes to no, maybe like 11 and a half. But that's all Sauce. And you can download his app to figure out his picks each and every day. As we inch closer to the Final Four, we'll get into that. A lot of NBA to talk about today, because that's what's down to the wire, you know? So we're excited about that. We'll get into that soon.
And just a quick clarification on what he was talking about, Rube. If you would like to call in today and give me a little bit of support on this debate that I'm clearly going to be on the one side of, I'm sure you all know that. Feel free, bro. The link is up there. And Dave was talking to you specifically.
Yeah, Dave's propaganda. Like, it's not propaganda, but you know what? I'll let my guy, Officer Payne, do the talking in just a couple of minutes, because there will be a brand new segment. It won't be every day, but whenever he feels like he needs to rip off something, he's going to rip and he's going to go. And it's Pissed Off Payne. He joins us. He is actually in the chat right now. He's signing autographs after the show. So if you want to just send him something to sign, like an 8x10, I know.
And he said that there's 945 and 946 or whatever subscribers he's talking about. Dude, you're telling me there's only fucking 2 cops that work with you today? You got 2 subs?
Wow. How about the next guy you arrest? You go to his phone and you also subscribe on his phone too, by the way. So that would help us out tremendously. But just good morning to everybody. And I hope if this is your first time with us, welcome to the show. I do also want to plug real quick that we recorded the Fight Factory for the first time on camera yesterday. That's already available on podcast form. But later on this channel, if you're into WrestleMania and you're into MMA, it's going to drop later on this afternoon.
Have we decided on a time? 2?
Sure. 2 sounds wonderful, but it'll be up there. So 2 o'clock, we literally made that decision right this second. 2 o'clock, that'll drop on our YouTube channel. It's the brand new episode of the Fight Factory featuring myself, Gooch, Tommy D, and of course, Rob produced that bad boy from Beyond the Arc. So we got that. We also got Jimmy Palumbo, who's now begging people and pleading people. He might even give you a couple bucks if you go to his show on Saturday. He's got a sold-out show on Friday night. Saturday night, there's tickets still available for that one. Jimmy's returning home to Avenel. I know he's from Colonia, but in at least the area.
It's the same shit.
Avenel's like right around the corner. So go check out Jimmy's show. I mean, right now, I'm technically going on Friday. However, I've not talked to Jimmy yet. So You gotta call us, Jimmy. I mean, listen. I know sometimes when you call me, you're looking for Chris, like I'm his freaking receptionist. But I digress.
Don't call us. Call Dave.
I don't want to talk to anybody. Actually, I don't want to talk to anybody. So anyway, before we get into whatchamacall, we did want to talk about the one thing that came over the NFL wire.
Yes.
So the NFL seems to be doubling down on their Rooney Rule after what they found to be a joke at first. I mean, it's been around for a long time, but people are just literally using the Rooney Rule and saying it's a Rooney Rule interview. Like, there's just been bad press around this Rooney Rule, and it's been brought to light, obviously, with all the crazy stuff going on with Flores, as I couldn't think of his name, Flores. And right now, I don't have the details in front of me. Maybe you do.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the details are of this whole stipulation or this adjustment of the Rooney Rule, but from what my understanding is that
females,
they're making it where you have to interview an offensive an African-American offensive coach has to be interviewed for every single opening. Is that what it is? Like, for every opening you have at each position, you have to interview at least one minority and then one female. And or is it both?
I don't know.
You know, like, that's what I need to figure out. But at the end of the day,
I feel like getting out of hand.
I feel like what Flores' case mainly is like kind of to prove how shitty the Rooney Rule is. I think that's the kind of stance he's taking with it, where you're giving these guys basically figurehead interviews when you know that you're not hiring them. That's just going to create more of that. And in terms of wanting to get rid of this whole lawsuit, I feel like they're creating more friction and possible more lawsuits.
Ready for this? Scoop's coming in. It's not an interview. It's a must hire now.
Wow.
Holy hell. So this isn't a double down on the rule. This is literally a mandate.
So we had
That's insane.
We had Rob do a little bit of research this morning, and he came up with some interesting data on the whole minority head coaching or minority offensive coaching, right? So throughout the NFC East and the AFC East, because we didn't really have enough time to go through the entire league, but we feel like that's enough of a sample size to give you enough data to kind of explain why I'm not so sure that this is really necessary. And I'm all for saying, like, the black head coaches typically don't get enough opportunity in the league, considering
that's statistics.
It's a 95% black players in the league. So I agree with that 100%. I do think that there needs to be something, but instituting a rule in order to fix a problem that I don't necessarily see as an issue with the offensive coordinators and offensive position coaches. So just to go through the teams, the Giants have 9 offensive coaches. 4 of them are a person of color. Cowboys have 7. 3 of them are, right? Eagles have 7. 3 of them are. Commanders have 12. 6. Jets 9. 4. Bills 10. 7. You know, so it's not even like they don't exist. I thought the numbers were going to be. I'm actually kind of shocked because when we were talking about this, I was on the side where I was like, bro, there's probably not one single black tight ends coach in the league. And Rob, you were like, no, there's a lot, as you were looking through them. So I'm not really sure where I sit on this. I feel like the NFL is just trying to put a Band-Aid over a broken bone with this whole, look, we care. No, you don't give a fuck. This is a fake fix for an issue that I feel like has been going on for quite a while, and maybe it's a little bit less prevalent now. I'm not really sure where I stand on this. I need to read more into the rule.
That's like when they tried to do the supporting racism, like by putting a decal on your helmet and putting the shit in the end zone. Oh, we fixed it.
Yeah, no,
like, you didn't. So stop.
It's all for fucking clicks or
it's
likes.
Right. It's all for pandering. Like the image of the NFL, and it's just like the NFL owns a day of the week, and now multiple days of the week. And I think that there's never going to be a time where people don't think the NFL is dog shit in their front offices. Like the league itself, the sport itself, superior to anybody else. But when it comes to front offices and what they do like promote change, they're a joke. They're a joke. And look, there's no bigger NFL fan than me. And I'm just thinking, I think that everything they try to implement is no good.
This is according to ESPN, what they put up. And in the language, it says that women don't even have to be interviewed. They just have to be on your list right here. Women do not have to be interviewed.
What do you mean a list?
Like your fulfillment process. Like you have to, with the Rooney Rule, you have to show the NFL that you had a list of hirees. Like you interviewed these people, but you don't, it says right here, added woman to the language of the Rooney Rule at all levels. It will now read that women and or people of color can satisfy the requirement to interview 2 external minorities for top positions, including head coach.
So, and or
women are not required to be interviewed, but they are now included in the fulfillment process. Hold on. It is possible that a team could interview 2 white women for open head coach position to satisfy the Rooney Rule and then make a hire without interviewing a person of color.
This whole thing is a joke, man.
Create more loopholes. Wow.
Dude, now how's your calves?
If I'm Flores' attorney, I'm going to fucking eat this up for my case. And also, did you see that? I'm not sure who the coaches are, but there was 2 new plaintiffs added to the Brian Flores suit. So now it's 3 total.
Oh, and it could include ownership, is what I'm hearing. If the plaintiff, like the people siding with Flores, could be NFL owners. So
wow,
there's a lot of shit going on right now, and it's still, look, they're trying to sugarcoat it. It's kind of like what happens in, like, you know, real life when there's politics involved. Like all of a sudden, like, everybody was talking about, you know, Will Smith smacking up Chris Rock yesterday, but meanwhile, I'm sure there's like child like trafficking somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, you're distracted now.
I firmly believe at the end of the day, this is what we'll end this topic on, that the Rooney Rule, in my opinion, is offensive. It's more offensive and it causes more harm than it does good. And I think Brian Flores is exposing that fact with his lawsuit, whether he wins or not. I got to tip my hat to the guy. I know that, you know, he's been like a lightning rod in the past couple of weeks, but I don't think that he's doing this to be a social warrior or social justice warrior. I think he's doing it to fix a thing that's been prevalent in the league for a long time, and the league constantly brushing it under the rug with these new modifications to a shitty, archaic rule that maybe at the time was definitely necessary, because at that point there was like 0. So right. I understand the whole institution of it, but at this point they're just doing bad things. And I don't think that Flores is in a situation where, I'm not going to compare him to Kaepernick, because Kaepernick was very vocal, and I don't think Flores is going to go to a situation and try and use every opportunity he gets to be on.
I mean, he's on a coaching staff
and
now.
To talk about, you know, so he's trying to like push this aside and say, look, I just want to do my job. This is a separate matter. Whereas I think Kaepernick, whether my opinion on him, you know, which side of the fence you fall under, I think we could all agree that Kaepernick also has an agenda. I don't think Flores has a private agenda. I think it's more like,
I agree with that. I agree with that.
So it's less of a friction for the team.
Commander Carson coming in saying, as a black man, this is the stupidest thing ever. I'll defend that it's dumb. The Rooney Rule is a joke. So there you go. You know what I mean? Like, it's a joke amongst us. It's now a joke amongst even the black community. Like, this is the NFL. Like I said, like you said, putting a Band-Aid on a broken bone. Guess what? That ain't gonna fix it. So that's enough of that. But before we get into all the stuff that we wanted to get into today, I do have to tell you that part of this show, I almost said podcast, but you know, it still is a podcast after all. This show is being brought to you by Michael Fusco and the Fusco Insurance Agency. They have partnered up with Chop Sports. We're very pumped about it. The Fusco Insurance Agency offers personal and commercial lines, life, health insurance. They even help with retirement, employee benefit administration. If you need a benefits guy, boom, there's your guy. It's tax season. I have to email our guy one more time today because I need to get that done because I got money just waiting to be sent to me, and I just got to get this done. I should have went to Fusco because he has the Prestige Tax Group, who also hooks you up with your tax services, retirement planning, insurance, asset protection, even life settlements. So God forbid something happens to one of your loved ones, like, he'll take care of all of that. This is a good dude. He's affordable. He will not lose you any money. Like, this is the guy that you want to link up with. He's a powerhouse agency. Get involved. Visit him at www.fuscoinsuranceagency.com. He's very affordable. And he's got, he's just super experienced. He's a nice guy, and I'm sure he's over the St. Peter's thing by now, you know, so he's easier to talk to today. He was probably a little pissed off yesterday, but, you know, overall, good dude, good company. We're very happy.
I don't get that pissed off vibe from the St. Peter's alum. I feel like everybody's still just very proud. They beat a bunch of good teams, and they lost to the eventual national champion, so you can't really fault them there.
Yeah, just very, very accurate.
How Dave agrees that North Carolina is winning it all. Over that one.
No. I heard you. I've been on the fence. I talked to our boy Evan yesterday, and because I talked to Evan yesterday, now I really want the Tar Heels to win.
Yeah.
So I think I might be on Team Tar Heels.
It's not like winning against Duke is guaranteeing anything. There's a definite tough opponent.
Yeah, it's either Kansas or Villanova, and they're both great. So, all right.
Real quick, though, before we get to Payne, remember we were talking, I kind of mentioned it earlier. I want to bring this up. Logan Paul had Dana White on his podcast, and I'm so surprised.
By the way, I'm shocked.
This aired like almost 2 weeks ago, and I'm very surprised that it didn't make more headlines, even in the MMA world or boxing world for that matter. I've been searching and scouring for content for 2 weeks for the MMA show or the Chop Fight Factory, and I haven't seen anything on it. But yesterday I happened upon it, and it was such a good show. Dana White and you would expect these guys to be at each other's throats, but
his beef is with Jake.
But look, Dana White loves these guys. If you think for 1 second that like all this publicity, and I saw that what I was getting on the podcast was that they're about to do business together. Like one of the Paul brothers is going to be in the UFC. There's no question about it.
This is insane.
I think that what these kids are about, what these guys are really, they wrestled their whole lives. They boxed for a long time. Dana White was like, you got wrestling and boxing. Like, you ever take jiu-jitsu? And Logan Paul was like, yeah, I do. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that I'm a world beater, but he was essentially, then Dana White said, dude, could you make 70? And he was like, I can't make 70. And he's like, well, you can't fight Conor because Conor fought Nate at 70. And he was like, so let's just say that now, this is Logan Paul speaking. He says, Dana, forget about Conor, forget about all of the other guys, like these big name fighters. He's like, let's just say I wanted to enter the UFC as like just a regular middling fighter.
Yeah.
Could I do it? He was like, Dana White looked at him. He was like, I'm definitely not saying no. You know, Dana White is on board with
Dana White knows it's cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and if these guys,
he don't give a shit if they get killed in the cage.
I think that Logan Paul is more likely to enter it as just like, look, I'm going to take on a new challenge. Jake Paul, I think, is more like going to try to be the thorn in the side. I think Logan Paul is actually interested in becoming, you know, and challenging himself, and fucking very interesting guy.
Logan Paul will be in action this weekend.
It's a very good show in general.
Do you see them maybe putting him in the Ultimate Fighter the next season, maybe, or maybe the season after that?
I think he's bigger than that in terms of his drawing ability. I don't think it's worth it to put him in a situation where he's going to get beat up and make no money for the company.
Yeah, yes, but what do you mean? It'll make a ton of. You don't think people would tune into the Ultimate Fighter to see Logan Paul every
Ultimate
week?
Fighter and being able to promote? I just don't know. I think that there's a shred that he goes in there and he loses in his first fight, and then what?
But it is what it is.
Welcome
At
to
least he's
CM Punk world.
practicing. Yeah, but at least he's practicing and
CM Punk
training.
didn't have to go into the Ultimate Fighter.
Oh, okay.
I think people would. I think the MMA community would respect Logan more if he went in there and dog that if he loses, he loses.
I think that the MMA community understands that it's a business as well, and if he got an opportunity just to compete in the UFC based on his status, much like a CM Punk did or other guys, even though he didn't really fight his way through the amateur ranks. Which is, I think that's where the people kind of get offended. They're like, I had to put in the work this whole time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, look, this guy's bringing a ton of money to the sport. Bro, look at it like this. If you get on the Logan Paul card and you're the undercard of that's exposure.
You're getting paid.
Absolutely.
You're bringing eyes to the sport. You guys
agree.
understand that with the wrestling world. It's the same thing. Being on the undercard of a Brock Lesnar main event is better than being on, SmackDown.
Absolutely. I agree. 100%.
Yeah. No, you have very good points.
So I think that there's a very, very good chance that by summer of 2023, you're going to see a Paul brother in the UFC. I don't think it's going to be Logan. I don't think it's going to be Jake, because I think Jake Paul is a little more demanding in terms of what he wants. I think that Logan Paul will actually possibly take this challenge on, and I would love to see it.
We'll see.
Big guy.
He is a big guy.
His stature, Logan Paul's stature more than Jake Paul, 1,000%. Looks like an athlete.
Yes,
you know 100%. What I'm saying?
And
look, I don't like the brothers. I don't like them at all. I think they're just annoying people, but they know how to sell their shit.
I'm telling you right now,
they know how to sell. I'm not knocking that shit.
I could promise you this, and I feel like it's just the going rate with what people think about the Paul brothers. Jake Paul brings up a shitload of good points when he's talking about what's going on with the UFC fighter pay.
Yeah.
And Logan Paul is just one of the most well-spoken guys, bro. His podcast is really, really good.
What's it called? I want to listen to it.
I'm Impulsive. It's just very good. He has very good guests, and he's not a hateable person. He's not.
Okay. All right.
He's just simply not.
All right.
I'm probably going to get roasted by Kyle for talking good about any other guy.
Well, speaking of roasting, we have now our resident chop cop that's about to go in on the NBA and go in on the current landscape of the NBA. This is the first edition of Pissed Off Payne. And like I said, he's very brash. He's very upfront. I
wonder if he's nervous.
He's not pulling any punches. He could be canceled based off of one episode, but you're about to listen to it right now, ladies and gentlemen. So bring it on up, Dina. Add that bad boy. See you later.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Pissed Off Payne. I'm excited. Very excited for this Very, very grateful for this opportunity that Dave and Chris have given me a platform to just come on here and bitch about people that I don't like. People that aggravate me, that rub me the wrong way. They just flat out bug the shit out of me. And I'm going to start with the NBA because I absolutely loathe some of those players. LeBron James comes to mind. This sweetheart, Russell Westbrook. James Harden, he's another peach. There's more, but those are like the top three. The thing that pisses me off about the NBA nowadays is not that I don't like basketball or that I think they all suck. I mostly think that they are all entirely soft. I think that they're a bunch of wet napkin pussies. Things that they do would not fly back in the day. And I'm talking about the 80s and the 90s. Like Michael and Scotty, Magic, Bird. The list goes on, and you know who I'm talking about. They were some tough bastards, okay? People today would not last back then, and everyone thinks that I'm crazy when I say that. And I'm not saying that this era of basketball is not athletic, because that's literally the only attribute that they have that tops the players back in the day, is that they're more athletic. I've never seen dunking like this back in the day. I haven't. Back when I played high school, I could dunk, but I was like one of two guys on my team. The other kid was 6'10". So, I mean, realistically, if he can't dunk, he shouldn't be on the team. You can go to any gym in the country and find players 4 and 5 deep on teams that can dunk, that can jump. And everyone, for some reason, thinks that the 3-ball at like 26 feet is the most important shot in basketball. And that's the other problem that I have. Everything is a 3-pointer. Everyone wants to shoot from the outside. Everyone thinks they're a sharpshooter. There's no set offenses. No one attacks the lane. There's pretty much no teamwork, but that's like for a whole nother segment. This era of basketball, it fucking blows my mind. It really does. You have guys that literally stat chase. They're worried about their stats and their individualism more than they are worried about a championship. This guy in particular, Stat Slut. That's his name. Stat Slut. Because all he cares about is himself. He can go for 40 in the first 3.5 quarters. Ask him to make a big shot. There you go. Russell Westbrook. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm old school. I prefer the older way of basketball. These guys nowadays, if you went to the basket as Steph Curry or one of these little bitches, they want to sit outside and shoot the 3, and then when they don't want to shoot the 3, they're going to pretend like they actually can drive the lane. If they went to the hole against a Bill Laimbeer or a John Sally or a Rick Mahorn, and those are just 3 guys on the same team. Imagine having 3 of those guys on each team back in the day. They would not make it out alive. They wouldn't last in the NBA. But I know, I got called soft because I said that we should protect the rookie quarterbacks. Why are we all of a sudden, like if you get hit in the face, all of a sudden you might be ejected. If you give a hard foul, you have the possibility of losing money. It's amazing. They would never last back in the day. And that's pretty much my point, is that they're soft nowadays, they're weak, they could not match up against the guys in the 80s and 90s. The Bulls 72-10 team is without a doubt the best team. They didn't take days off. Everybody was held accountable. You got guys like LeBron that get cramps and he's carried off by 5 members of the team. 2 teammates, 2 what the fuck are they, ball boys? And then you got the team physician. Everyone grab a limb. Pick him up, he's got cramps. But then you got a guy like Elgin Baylor, if we take it back to the 60s. 1961, he had 40 fucking points. I'm sorry, take that back. 38 points a game, 19 rebounds a game in 48 games in an 80-game season. You know what he did? He was in the Army. He was protecting and serving when he wasn't playing basketball. And you have guys taking days off? Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? It's an absolute joke. You give me your 5, take my 5, and we'll see who wins head-to-head. You're not going to win from behind the arc. Because you will get D'd up the whole entire time. Another thing, another lost art. How they give out Defensive Player of the Year is a fucking travesty. No one plays defense! Except somewhat in the playoffs. So, that's my take. This is it. This is the show. This is the studio. It's half a fucking board cut in half and fucking drilled into this. I don't know. I hope you guys like the content. I'm going to be putting a lot out there. Again, thank you to Chop Sports for this. I'm your resident Chop Cop. What the fuck am I? Chop Sports Payne. And this is the very first edition of Pissed Off Payne.
Couldn't disagree with everything he said.
Oh my God, Payne. Oh man, that was.
First of all, I want to touch on one point right out of the gate right here, and that's that the Bulls that won 72 games that they all played every single day.
I'm pretty sure
Dennis Rodman was like on vacation in the middle of the season with Carmen Electra in Vegas, and Jordan was getting hammered on the golf course with Jeremy Roenick,
but was still dropping double nickel. So that is Chris Payne, ladies and gentlemen, our resident Chop Cop. So thank you for that footage. Hopefully they're not as long as that anymore, but it was good. It had me engaged the entire time. It was hilarious. Probably anybody who joined like mid Payne rant, like I think Ashley was like, who the hell is this on the screen? So it is Chris Payne, and I think that he's got a point. I listen, I'm on Team Payne here, and I know that you're not. I know Rube's not. I know Kyle's not. I get it. I'm going to get ganged up on, and that's again the game. Ken Palmer, his Chop Sports Lewis Black, 100%, 1,000%.
Yes,
that's perfect, Paulman. Very good. It was my first time, Dave. Yeah, all right. I'm off it. Hugh Grant is gorgeous. Have you seen 9 Months? It was just a juke. You probably don't know that one. But anyway, so
definitely
great.
Not.
No, I know, but the guy who Scoops just said it, he probably should. But the NBA is definitely a different beast at this time. And now we're coming down towards the final stretch of the NBA season, which, again, earlier in the chat, I saw Kyle said, are we going to congratulate? Here's my biggest beef right now. He goes, are we going to congratulate the Knicks for winning 4 straight games, 3 of them against playoff teams?
No.
Why? Why am I congratulating? Okay, so you won games.
All the Knicks just did was
fuck up their lottery shit.
4 straight wins is fuck up. They got a ball removed from the lottery.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I don't want them to lose ever. I root for the Knicks to win every single night. But when you're this bad and now you're out of the playoffs, outside looking in, unless barring a absolute effing miracle that the Hawks drop like the rest of their games and the Knicks will go on this miraculous run, that would be a story that would last a lifetime, right? But it's done, right? It's done. And as of yesterday or today when I woke up, the Heat are back up in first, right? And they're up a game on the Bucks, the Celtics, and
Sixers.
The Sixers, right? So they're up 1 game, separates 4 teams. It's getting crazy. So this is when the NBA gets good. Because there's been a lot of times where it was always like the same teams in the finals, or at least like the LeBron-led team, wherever he was, we're going to be in the finals. So a lot of people used to say, like, why don't we even watch the regular season? Just watch the playoffs. And that's where we're at. We're like 5-6 games away.
If only they had like a couple teams that weren't so soft in the NBA now.
I know.
Maybe it would be a little more interesting to watch and more fun to watch. Like, come off of it with this whole the NBA is too soft. Now I know that we're supposed to be talking about the East or whatever. The Celtics.
I just wanted to touch
East.
on it.
My point is, it's like, could we stop with this old school era of basketball is much better than the new school or tougher to play in? It was so much easier to play in that era. My main point is this: Jordan's the GOAT, right? Understandable, but
you're gonna spark something by just saying that.
Besides that, I mean, I don't give a shit. Most people in here will agree with me that Jordan is the GOAT because he is, right?
Yeah, you're like looking up and down the chart.
I was looking down, up and down. But my point is, like, Michael Jordan stopped pretty much everyone else in the whole entire league for about a 10, 12-year stretch of winning a title, right? You can't see that in today's NBA because there's so much talent dispersed around the league where it's not just one guy that's dominating. How great must the NBA have been where they let one player completely ruin the legacy of an entire generation of greats?
You say ruin the legacy?
Ruin, yeah, like Patrick Ewing, no titles. Outside of the Rockets, when they had like Jordan left for baseball, there was just no chance for a full decade for another team to compete, right? That's all because of one team. How great was the NBA? There's pictures of Michael Jordan driving through the lane against like the Wizards at the time, or the Bullets. I think they were still the Bullets, right?
Old school.
And there was like 3 guys that had white hair, and they were white men.
But you're talking about that. Let's just
see. You're going 70s, 80s. I'm talking 90s.
No,
basketball.
I think he's still talking 90s basketball
Talking
too.
about Michael Jordan.
I think
who the fuck had white hair in the 90s?
I mean, do you know? Could you name me anyone on the Washington Bullets roster? And
I'm pretty sure they didn't have white hair
besides Calbert Chaney.
Yeah. So what you're saying is there was a bottom feeder of the NBA, a la this year's Magic. They suck. You know, like they're terrible.
I think if you took the Knicks or the Heat from like '94, the whole team, and put them in this, you got to remember.
They wouldn't be able to defend the
training.
perimeter. They would get the.
You better relax over there, Tommy D.
I don't think so, bro.
Tommy D in the chat saying John Starks is the reason Ewing didn't get a ring. John Starks is a goddamn legend, and you will never say that
maybe
shit
Michael
again.
Jordan is the reason why Ewing didn't get a ring.
And
Yeah.
Reggie, and
Except for
Reggie
that time
Miller
that John
didn't get a
Starks
ring. Barkley,
trounced on him.
all of them, you know.
The game is different,
And also Patrick Ewing is the reason why Patrick Ewing didn't get a ring because he missed that. You know that.
we don't want to talk about the finger roll here, bro.
Layup.
So honestly, though, the game is different, and I'm not saying like. Clearly, and I think Payne alluded to this in his segment, that the skill and the athleticism is 1,000% better at this point, right? But the game itself was more pure back then. The game itself took strategy. The game itself back then took a tough dude to drive the lane. So now they're not doing it. I saw Rube, and I saw Kyle put in there that the 3-point shot is the easiest shot to take, right? Because you're by yourself sometimes, and it's a wide open look sometimes.
They said most important.
Oh, most important shot. Sorry. So it's all right. So most important shot. Why? Because it's got one more point value. Like,
yes.
Give me a better dominating center. He'll eat you alive all night long.
A better dominating center right now. If he can't play the perimeter, he's a plug.
You're telling
That's
me
what I'm saying. But back in the day, if you fed that ball into Shaq,
Shaq would
he was
dominate
flushing it
any
home.
single player
Shaq would
right
dominate
now.
right now. Of course he would. But you don't think Joel Embiid would be a problem then? Like, look at guys like Rasheed Wallace. He was like original stretch fours. Rasheed Wallace, his game translated just fine back in the day. These guys are able to play. I'm tired of hearing the fact that LeBron James is LeBron James is like 25 pounds heavier than the biggest center in the NBA in the 80s, outside of like Rick Smits, who was 7'4", and these bigger guys. But LeBron James, you don't realize, like, this guy, he's not afraid to penetrate, pause. He's not afraid to drive to the lane. He'll dunk right on everybody in the 80s and the 90s.
I think go ahead. Sorry.
We're missing the fact that, like, Michael Jordan, just watch how many times he complained. And if you want to talk about flop, they all flop. It's the nature of the sport. You can't get on a guy for flopping when that's what the nature of the sport is. Oh, and guess who started it? The era that he grew up watching play.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
But Michael Jordan would hear people complain and shit on. But this is the same thing with Kobe. Kobe would go to practice and dominate every day to let everybody know he was the best. And if you want to play with me, you have to play like me. And LeBron is lazy and doesn't want to do that. Yes, LeBron could hold on. Lebron could score 60 a night, right?
There's one thing you can't say is LeBron's lazy.
He is
That's
lazy.
Ridiculous, bro.
You just said LeBron could go. Listen, hold on. You said LeBron could go and score and go and drive to the basket every day, which I think he could. I think LeBron could take over games. He's proved it. Michael and Kobe did that every single night. They weren't going to go out there and be embarrassed by anybody. I don't care.
So here's the thing.
He will.
I don't want to turn this into a LeBron versus Kobe Michael debate because honestly, I'm on the side of I think Jordan was better. But I'm talking about as a whole, the entire NBA. And if we're going to take like LeBron James would have dominated. You take LeBron James and put him on those Bulls teams. They're dominating. That's a dominant team. Jordan, Pippen, LeBron, like they're not losing more. They're going to win the same amount.
I'll agree.
I'll agree. I don't know that Jordan dominates now the way he did in that era. I just don't. I think the talent is way too immense, and I think Jordan.
I saw the way you looked at
Jordan
him.
plays
I
different.
saw that.
Jordan plays different now. The NBA.
Yes,
Jordan would have changed his game to adjust to the way the NBA is played now too. Like that's just a fact.
There's no offenses being called anymore. It's like you said. It's get the ball to Steph, get the ball to Clay, get the ball who's ever open a 3-point line. That's it. We ran the triangle.
And I just watched the middle school charity game. That's all these kids were doing. I'm not saying any of them are going to dunk, but like they're being taught now this way to just take that long range.
You want to know why? Because
that's got to be a low percentage shot. I'm sorry.
If you don't coach your team this way, you were getting ran out of the gym. And if that's not an indicator right there as to which style of basketball is better, it's like, okay, play this old school style and get ran out of the gym. Or play this new school style. Maybe you guys don't think it's as entertaining, but I think it's way more entertaining.
You
want to see,
you want
to see 86, 81, some half court sets where they're like dribbling out the shot clock every fucking time. A traditional point guard bouncing the ball until someone cuts. Come on. What are we talking
we
about?
do have
This
a
is not
call.
the YMCA.
We have a call here coming in. The guy we just saw, as if we couldn't get enough of this guy. Good morning, Chris.
Nice.
Good morning.
So you got to back us up. We're back me and Rob up because right now Chris is dominating this.
I will defend myself in a rational way. Chris and I talked about this the other day when I was at the studio, and he said, because I said they don't play defense, and he said in the playoffs, defense actually gets a little bit better, and I do agree with that to a point. It's not as good as it was back in the day, and I say back in the day, and I keep referencing it because everyone's saying, "Oh, the 3-pointers, the key that'll win every game." The guys in the day did not let you breathe to take 3-pointers. You're not gonna when you have guys like Gary Payton covering you, Michael Jordan, Scotty. Keep going. I'm telling you, all world defenders, they're not going to give those 3-pointers.
Not every single team had a great perimeter defender on them, even back in the day.
I'm not saying the guys back in the day. I'm saying the guys now.
Sucked at defense.
I'm saying the guys now. If you have all these sharpshooters on every team, 4 guys, 5 guys deep, throw up 3-pointers. Guys back in the day are not giving them that room. If you put them up against each other, they don't have the room to take those 3-pointers. You have guys standing at the foul line watching dudes throw it up.
I'm saying that if you take the top 25 players in the NBA right now versus the top 25 players in the NBA then, it's not even close, bar none. The top 20, and I say then, it's like we're stretching it here because we want to talk about eras. The 80s is an era, the 90s is an era, and like it kind of bleeds into the early
2000s is still an era.
True.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I'm saying about the 80s and the 90s is the toughness.
Like 94, 95, Iverson year, like that's where we'll cut it off. Right. I feel like that's fair.
Yeah,
right? KD is new era. KG is old era. Duncan, old era.
Okay.
No, I get that.
25, I'll take my 25 and I'll go up. It's just it's a great matchup. There's no way that the stars of back then are better than the stars of right now. And
I don't agree with that by any means, because you can literally watch at least 20 clips. And you just said something about flopping before. All you guys talked about flopping and bullshit foul calls. There's 20 clips of LeBron not getting touched and going down and then holding his chin like he just took a fucking bullet.
That has zero bearing on anything other than him trying to get a call. It doesn't mean that he's better or worse at basketball. It has
tons of bearing because you're saying that those guys can't beat the guys back in the day easily. Those guys, the guys nowadays are not as tough as they were back then.
What happens when LeBron flops like that and it's a big spot and he gets the foul call? Right. All
right. Well, Chris, thank you for the 5 minutes. Thank you for this. We got another call. We're gonna move on.
That's like 10 minutes total.
Well, thank you for joining us. Keep watching. Keep in the comments. We're gonna get to another call.
My gate. People are coming in.
All right, bro. Take care. I can't even reach him. If you can bring him up. There he is. All right. So Scoop Espo joining us now. He's obviously Team Chris. I think. So good morning, Scoop. So what's your take on this, bro?
First off, Hugh Grant is definitely wrong on this. I don't know what he's talking about. Dude, I think Chris said it before. If Michael Jordan played now, he would be a top 10 player at best.
No, he would be the best player in the NBA, but he wouldn't dominate the way he dominated.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't dominate. He'd be in the top 10 as one of the best players. He would be a Steph Curry, a Jace, Kevin Durant. Durant, maybe.
Now you're disrespecting.
Me and you were in agreement.
This is where you get
disagreement.
Yeah, Kevin Durant and Michael Jordan would be the same player. He wouldn't be able to. He wouldn't be able to get to the rim.
Would it be? You're saying
he said no. He said Jordan and Curry would be the same player.
No, Kevin Durant would be the same player.
Okay. I can see that. I can actually see that.
Well, Michael Jordan would be like suspended for gambling already. He would be kicked out of the league. Can you imagine Michael Jordan was able to go on FanDuel? Are you fucking kidding me?
God himself every night.
You say, I mean, they allowed hand checking back then, so that's why the defense was better too at the perimeter. If you touch someone now, it's a foul. So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, let's blame Steph Curry.
Yeah,
LeBron's flopping. Come on,
it's just everyone's.
And are we gonna do this? Look, we could do this for every sport, but more importantly, like, could you come up with 5 guys that would beat my 5 guys? I don't think you would.
I think I could.
I think I could too.
I think I could.
And you got to remember, you got to take this all out too.
Well, why don't you hang up and listen? There, Scoop.
Shut up.
Hang up and listen. You shut up. My show. Goodbye.
There was no. You got to remember, nutrition's got to. This is all sports too. Nutrition factors in. Weights factor in. Guys in the 80s and 90s were doing all that stuff. Now.
Let's just do it real quick. All right. So I'm going to name a position, right?
Yeah.
And then you tell me who's guarding him in your game. So I'll start with my 80s, 90s guys.
I feel like you're gonna have a lot tougher time guarding my generation. Like
we'll figure that out right now.
Right.
I guess.
We're gonna figure it out right now because we're on the
Okay.
streets and here comes the game, right? So I'm gonna start with my point guard, right? Okay. My guy's gonna be. I was up for 2 in my head. I'm like, there's 2 guys in my mind
Dave's
that
about to
would,
pick John Stockton.
there's one guy on my mind right now.
Why is it John Stockton?
And I'm gonna change it from John Stockton to Tim Hardaway.
See, you're not
Really,
allowed to use
Dave?
my
That's
favorite
who you would
fucking
pick?
player of all
Tim
time.
Hardaway's my
now,
guy.
Now I'm
he
going to
killed
pick
my
Chris
Knicks.
Paul because Tim Hardaway is my guy, but that's fucked up, Dave.
I'm sorry.
That's fucked up.
I'm
because
sorry.
Tim Hardaway is like a top 3 of favorite player of mine.
Okay,
of all
let's
time.
go. Shooting guard.
Well, I mean, come on. That's Michael Jordan.
Okay, Chris.
James Harden. No.
Okay.
I'm
No,
joking.
no, he's
I'm
not- he's
joking.
not-
I fucking hate
He is
James
not
Harden.
serious.
All right, so in reality, I'm gonna go point guard. I'm gonna go CP3, right, and then shooting guard.
See, right off the rip, I think that Tim Hardaway was
I think
better
Tim
than
Hardaway's
Chris
terrible.
Paul.
I can't believe
Tim
you're saying
Hardaway's
that.
not better than Chris.
You had
Paul.
any choice and you chose Tim
You could give me
Hardaway.
like Jason Kidd or something.
Wait, are you
like
mocking my pick?
Absolutely. I'm
All right, so
mocking
who's
your pick.
better
Point
in that
guard
era?
in
Jason
the 80s
Kidd.
and 90s? I would say Jason Kidd. Yeah, of course.
All right, fine. Jason Kidd. Is Jason Kidd better
You
than
need,
Chris
a guy,
Paul?
you need a guy that's Jason Kidd's not going to bother shooting once.
All I'm trying to do is compare
the.
All I'm trying to do is compare the generations.
Dave,
So
I get
if
it.
we take Jason Kidd, is he better than Chris Paul?
I have an idea. Dave picks a
Prime,
team from
yes.
that era, and I'm going to pick a better team from that era.
You're an asshole. You really are an asshole.
See, no, we can't go Isaiah Thomas because
I
that's
think they're
even,
going more 90s.
like, are we
than
going to go,
80s.
Dave? You have the 100 years of basketball. I have current, right? So that's what we're doing.
All right, so wait a minute. So Kyle's coming in saying that I should have picked Magic Johnson as my. I was going 90s,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
later
Fine, then
90s.
can I pick?
So
my-
fine. So
then
if that's the case, then it's Magic and Jordan to start off my team.
all right, so then I'm taking.
The
I'm
game
taking,
is over.
So then I'm taking KD and I'm taking KD and LeBron, point guard LeBron, KD.
Oh, so now you're
shooting
just
guard.
making up.
I'm
positions.
just going. Well, so yeah,
Magic was a point.
because if you play in today's era, LeBron plays all
Let
four
him do that.
positions.
Let him do that. If you're taking all the time, you'll
I
just
mean,
take.
come on, Kyle. Like I know enough not to fucking pick Tim Hardaway over fucking Magic Johnson. I thought we were more in the
That's what I
'90s,
thought
like
too.
later '90s era. So fine. So if I'm doing '80s and '90s, then it's Magic and it's Jordan. So then you have KD and LeBron.
Yeah.
So it's tight. Don't tell me it's not tight.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
end his
taking
life.
Giannis.
End him.
What,
End him
you're-
right now.
Giannis is my fucking 3.
It's over though. He'll take Shaq, Oscar Robertson, and that's your game. We won't even
So,
need
no,
5.
Oscar
We don't need
I'll
Robertson.
take
5.
Chris. I'll
fuck
take
are we
Charles
doing
Barkley
here, bro?
to beat your ass on the knee.
Bro, Charles
I'll
Barkley.
take Shaq. Tell me there's a better center than Shaq right now.
There's not.
There's not.
The Jokic is going to cause problems for Shaq.
For
You
Shaq?
Problem.
Jokic alive.
Prime Shaq? You're talking about prime Shaq.
I'm talking about what's Shaq going to do on the defensive side of the ball. He's going to have to play outside of
Yeah.
the perimeter. I think
He
that's
has to
going to be
get
an
it in.
issue.
I love it.
Shaq, you know who gave Shaq major issues? Rasheed Wallace. Case in point. No, Jokic is like Larry Bird, but 7 foot. Stop disrespecting the Joker, bro.
I'm not.
He also
he's an
ended.
MVP. I'm
He
not
also
disrespecting
knocked
him.
out the Markieff Morris for career, right? With just he just
He'll never find
barely
another
touched
day.
him. He's from Serbia. Stop.
Oh
Stop.
man, Dave has 0 players that can shoot 40% 3-point who will get
Yeah,
shot out of the
just
gym.
hack a Shaq and we'll be fine,
Playing prison rules according to Chris Payne.
right? And honestly, Giannis is going to probably fucking cover Shaq anyway.
I tell you right
That's
now,
gonna be the
look,
matchup
Look, Giannis is probably the closest thing
to Shaq.
to Shaq that I've seen because of
I
the
agree.
body type and the just.
Oh, my team is dominating that team. Kidding me? The size alone. Giannis is the 3. LeBron's the fucking 1.
Do you want me to demonstrate? Do you want me
KD's
to?
the
Here
2?
we go. Here we go. Do you want me to demonstrate what a foul would be in the '90s to compare it to today? Because if that's the case, yeah, you'll probably dominate because you'll be at the line
Nobody's
all
stopping
game
long.
LeBron.
fucking time.
Nobody's stopping LeBron. Jokic is going to have Shaq out on the perimeter.
You're right.
Because he's not right.
Bro, you're
He's just going to
crazy
play the
self.
perimeter,
You
and,
are
and who's going to be
absolutely
like, "Yo,
crazy.
who's going to cover this guy out there?" And it's going to be like, "Well, Shaq's got to fucking run out there." And do it.
Toast said Hakeem Olajuwon would lock him up. Shaq sold himself.
Well, then Shaq's out.
Fine,
So
but
you can't have both.
but
Or
I'm
you
saying
can
like
put
but
Hakeem at the 4.
No.
what I'm saying is that era had Shaq and Hakeem. This era has Giannis and maybe Joel Embiid.
Not maybe. Why are you disrespecting these guys?
I'm not
Embiid
disrespecting.
is
I'm
a
just telling
beast.
you that the grittier, hardcore player was earlier, and now the hardcore player, a la LeBron James. If you put rookie, listen, it's a great conversation to have. Ready? I'm getting choked up. If you put, let's just say you put rookie or even rookie LeBron James in right now. Is it not even a debate? Like he's the best player in the world over the current landscape of the
That's
game.
a good question, bro.
Yes.
Because right now he's 40.
Yeah.
And he's
Absolutely.
aging.
Absolutely. If LeBron James was 18 right now, entering the league right now, he would be the new LeBron James. 100%. He played what?
Because remember, when he came in, he was dominating the league, which we all thought he would anyway. But I'm saying with the new breed of player that's in here now.
I'm so confused. You think that me saying, yeah, he would automatically is like crazy? That's like saying that Jordan wouldn't come in and dominate right now.
He didn't, though. But rookie Jordan didn't come in and dominate like LeBron did.
Look at Jordan's points.
No, I understand that.
But LeBron didn't dominate as a rookie.
Yes,
either.
he
had a good season, but they didn't dominate.
But he took that crappy ass team to the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they were under 500. It was just a bad conference at the time, like really bad.
I just think there's players today.
Early Jordan years?
No, early LeBron years.
Oh,
but Jordan's numbers in his career were phenomenal.
Yes,
he
I understand
scored
that.
a ton.
I just don't think let's say LeBron came out last year, right? And who was the first pick in the draft or the second pick?
Wasn't it Ja?
No, that was like 2 years ago. Ja was like second, but still.
Oh,
so you think rookie? Well, I don't think
last year, Ja Morant.
No, 2 years ago.
2 years, yeah.
Wow.
I just don't think. I think he'd be in like the top 5 of best rookies. Obviously, you know what I mean. I don't think he'd be as big of a star.
You think LeBron James would be like a top 5 pick?
Obviously,
not the best.
He would be the number one
generational
pick.
Player. Look, we're talking about a guy that's 440
pounds
as like the next best thing, Zion. LeBron James coming out of high school, so much more talented than a guy like Zion. Is not even close, and Zion's the biggest star.
Do you think they were just like reaching for somebody when they were talking about Zion?
Zion had crazy talent, and
did he though, or was he just a faster Shaq?
No, he was dunking, and it was the internet.
He's more like a fatter Barkley than a faster Shaq, but he also is way more athletic in terms of jumping ability. But no, look, Zion's his own guy. LeBron James, if he came into the league right now, come on, guys. Like the media makes a big thing about everything. If LeBron was 18 now, 17, entering college for 1 year and going to Duke, clearly, right? And then and then going into the NBA, yeah, LeBron would be the first pick, and we'd be talking about him very, very, very much like we are now.
So I guess the overall perception of this conversation, or putting a bow on the NBA conversation, is that you think this crop of players from 2000 and I don't know 5, 6, 7 to now would dominate the 90s star. Like, just take the dream team. Let's just take them, for example, just because that was the greatest team ever assembled, right? And they didn't sniff anything less than a dominant win. Oh, other than,
the international competition was far less formidable at that time, and much due to the fact because I say this all the time, like the thing that changed the NBA the most, and what actually lends to the point that I'm making, is that it's just a harder league now because the influx of the European talent, where back in the day you didn't have that. In 92 Olympics, the United States went overseas to Barcelona and on the world stage showed what the NBA was all about. And then from there on, you saw the next 20 years, 25 years, you started seeing these European players pop up around the league. And that's a direct effect.
Inspired by.
There's also, it's like what you were talking about before, nutrition and things like that. Like, bro, every young kid that played in the era over the last 15, 20 years grew up watching on Michael Jordan's playground. They had the Gatorade commercials. They had the Air Jordan shit. You know, it was just an era now where the N1 mixtape. So they changed a lot about the way basketball was played, very much in thanks to the era before them. So it's just obviously.
So you think this is just a passing of the torch in a way they play the game of basketball?
The players of today are just as talented, if not more talented, and they get a bad rap for the fact that the league has changed drastically in the last 25 years in terms of rules, hand checking, and maybe the analytics and the way things are coached. Now, if a coach, let's just say this, if all 30 coaches in the NBA collectively said, you know what, we're going to stop coaching them to shoot threes, guess what would happen? The players would stop fucking shooting threes. They're not running the offenses. Like, they're doing what they're told.
So there's no Willie Beemans of this whole thing. They're not going out there calling their own plays.
I'm sure there's guys that are going off the beaten path a little bit, but they're stars in this league. There's not going to be a guy that's in a rotation that's looking for minutes to stay in a rotation that's not going to listen to his coach because he's young and a bitch and he's like soft. Like, that's just not how it is. I think the players get a bad rap. The league itself and the media and really the social media generation, and where everybody has a say now, is really why it is the way it is. And Joker would fucking do just fine against Shaq. Just saying. Joker and Hakeem are very similar, and Shaq struggled mightily with Hakeem. Mightily. So To say that a guy that's as talented as Joker wouldn't
So I guess
fit in, it's crazy. Man. And he's Serbian. He's not soft. What the fuck are we talking about?
I guess
war torn.
To basically to put a bow on this whole thing, or at least I'll concede in the fact that topic one that we talked about before, if you put LeBron in the 90s, LeBron would absolutely crush it. Absolutely crush it. I believe that. And I've said that because LeBron's built different. You put Steph Curry in the 90s. I don't know. Because
Reggie Miller looked like a fucking, I can't even say because I will get canceled. I'm fucking terrible of me to even think that. But actually, I don't even know if that's.
I wouldn't try it though. But anyway,
but Reggie Miller is no different than Steph Curry. Same player. I mean, you could say that he has like a little more of an edge to him. He's a little tougher. But
did you just go for the choke?
Yeah.
Oh, you're an asshole.
He's got a little more to him. Trying to, sorry, Reg.
No, I'm saying the thing was against the Knicks. Oh, bastard. But yeah, so I agree with that. I agree with the sentiment that there was a tougher breed of player. It just were men back then. Okay, that's how I see it. If you got elbowed in the face, you were still in the game. Like and now LeBron gets carted off for cramps. There's just a different element to the player. There is a different.
Bro,
I'm not saying
anybody ever had a
skill-wise.
fucking cramp, like a bad one?
Yes, I've got Charlie horses all the time. Got to drink more water.
Carry me. You ever get a fucking cramp pain? I don't want to hear it.
He's been shot at.
Did it hit him?
No, he's got reflexes like a cat. No, but I just think that the difference is the style of player. It's a different game, and I'm not one to say that it's a bad game. I don't like the new game. Like do I want RJ Barrett and all these guys to hit threes all day long like a Steph Curry? Absolutely, that would win games, right? And we would win more basketball games because that's the way the game is played. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, I know. So, I'm just saying that doesn't mean you're right.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying
look, it's an opinion. You can't. It's like saying, look, bro, I want you to like this version of basketball better than the one that you clearly like better. It's just not. It's a debate because more or less defending the fact that the players now aren't soft. The league might be, but the players right now, if you put them, they're playing within the confines of the game that they're playing. It's that simple.
Scoop says, wait till the 4-point shot comes.
And let's just talk like without getting
Steph Curry's going to lead the league in fours
without
too.
Getting too deep into it. I mean, we could have this conversation across all platforms on all sports. We could have it about movies. We could have it about music. It's like the things change, and it might be for better or for worse.
That's really a good point because you bring up football, like you bring up other sports, and I think of football. Like there are 100% better. What happened?
When you having Stimmy Palumbo on again?
Oh God,
probably Friday.
Stimmy Palumbo, he's coming in here.
I don't know. We'll talk.
Dave Toast Dave doesn't really like any. That's not true. See, Toast. See, me and you are different, man. And I'm not about to go on some. Oh boy. I mean, I'm biting the tongue here. I think that we're allowed to be different people, right? I love a lot of things in sports. I am very, very passionate about the sport of football. I'll tell you right now, the sport of football, the game of football is way better because it has more athletic people in the sport now. Back then you could say, well, Herschel Walker and Bo Jackson and Barry Sanders. But I get it, but now they're better athletes now.
But will you say that like, oh, the NFL is boring to watch now because they're not allowed to kill the quarterback? It's like, no, that keeps the NFL interesting, and that's why
that keeps the quarterbacks upright and playing.
Yeah.
Who wants to watch two backups?
So who wants to watch a bunch of fucking guys go to the free throw line and get drilled or worse, go to make a dunk and get fouled so hard but it not get called? And it's just like, who wants to see that? That's fun.
Scoop came
88, 81 overs.
Like Scoop coming. Dave rocked AOL Instant Messenger. I had the best away messages of all time, by the way. Gooch. Wow. I was gonna say Rob's coming in, but Rob's right there. You could just say it. I mean,
I'm just going through the comments.
But I love a lot of things about sports, and I love that there is generational differences between the sports. But doesn't mean you have to love the sport as much as you did once upon a time. So like once upon a time, I was the biggest. I was the Kyle of the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew everything about everything, right? And then over time, I'm just like, well, why is he allowed to take fucking 9 steps? And you start seeing these things and you're like, whatever. And then of course, Dave stops playing basketball because Elio's Pizza, but like, and I got bigger and I just couldn't move on the court anymore. And I was more like a perimeter shooter myself for a little while, but then I stopped playing basketball and I fell out of love with it. And then the game changed right before my eyes. And I'm not saying I hate basketball. I want the Knicks to win the title every single fucking year. Okay. But I'm just saying the game has changed. The NFL has changed for the better. Baseball has changed for the better. There's people in baseball right now, despite about the rules and the shift thing that they're about to ban and all this other shit, they're about to try to fix baseball, pace of play, all that shit. I said it the other day in the chat. I said, don't touch baseball. It's pure. Leave it.
Well, I think baseball out of all the sports is the one that's changed the least, even though you do see the shift. And
it's all the same rules.
The analytics changed the game a lot.
Analytics ruined the game of baseball.
In terms of whether the players are soft or not, I think, if anything, the players were more soft back in the day because you couldn't fucking flip your bat after hitting a home run without one of the guys getting his fucking panties in a bunch. Nowadays they're a little more accepting of the fact that the other guys are celebrating, which the unwritten rules of baseball are kind of going by the wayside, which I think is time, right? I like when certain guys enforce unwritten rules, but I also think that the unwritten rules shouldn't be there.
Like stepping on the mound.
Well, like certain things you get it, but it's just like, you understand if you're going to break the rule, you could be mad at me all you want. It's not a fucking rule. And understanding that breaking the rule might end up turning into a fight. I like all that. Police itself, baseball does a good job of that more than any other sport other than hockey, I'd say, in terms of policing themselves. But baseball, I think, changed the least in terms of the rules and things like that. In fact, they haven't changed the rules at all. And that's why you're allowed to shift, because it's like it wasn't a rule. So they're like, well, it wasn't a rule, so you could just do it.
And now you can't.
And like, if anything, what they're going to do is make changes to almost make baseball go back to the way it was, which I would be okay with.
I think I'm okay with that too.
I don't want,
but I'm in that old school realm where I'm like, just bunt the other way. Go ahead.
But look,
but not everybody can bunt.
Not everybody could bunt, and even more so, try and bunt one down the opposite field line when somebody's throwing a curveball low and in. It's just not easy. Knowing that there's a shift, the pitchers are going to be like, well, I'm not going to give you a pitch.
You're not getting outside, right? You're not going to pitch outside.
Bunt one down the line. It's just, and look, it's not easy to bunt if I threw the ball to you, right? I understand they're major league hitters, but it doesn't matter. Swinging a bat and bunting are very, very different. It's not guaranteed that because you could field and you could hit that you're also going to be able to lay down a bunt. It's just a different thing. You could say you should be able to, and it's like, have you ever done it? Have you ever tried it? It's just not easy. It's just not easy when you got Jacob deGrom or even middle of the road third starter, or even worse is like when you get a guy that comes in just to get you out, literally you. He comes in to get you specifically out after you face somebody else for fucking 3 innings.
Do you hate that rule?
3 at bats.
Do you hate that rule? The 3 at bat rule?
Yes.
Is that still in? Is that still a thing? Or is that a COVID thing? I don't even know.
No, that was a pace of play thing.
So that's still in there.
Still in, yeah.
Wow.
Or maybe it's.
I hate that shit. I liked when I know it goes to 15 commercial breaks, but I liked that. Like, oh, this is the lefty specialist pitcher that's going to come in and burn you and then get taken right out. I like that shit.
So,
but that's just strategy.
So staring down this is where I feel like it's a little hypocritical.
What?
Bat flips are fine. Staring down a pitcher, I'm throwing at you, then I'm coming for you. So I understand, but like to me, I think that's the soft part. I think that's soft. Like if somebody stares at you, fucking get them out. You know what I mean? Like it's you're that soft, or somebody stares at you, you got to throw it at. I feel like that's very I'm catching Will Smith vibes.
No, I've never understood that either. About like if I hit a home run or whatever,
I'm pimping that shit. I'm gonna fucking throw the bat.
So why do you got to throw at me?
You know what I mean? Next time you get me out, do the same.
You don't gotta tell me. My favorite athlete of all time is Deion Sanders. He used to high step it from the 20. And like you don't want him to high step, go catch him.
Stop him.
Go catch him.
Ready for me to age myself a little bit? I was at the game where Deion hit the inside the park home run.
Wow, how old are you?
51. No, 39.
Almost there, bro. In May, same birthday as one Jimmy Palumbo getting involved here. But I saw Jimmy Palumbo in here before. I don't know what he just said one word, Avenel. I guess he just wants a plug. He wants a plug. I plugged your show in the beginning. If you joined us where everybody else is joining us at 11 o'clock, Jimmy, you don't just come in here and bark orders.
Stimmy Palumbo, we had a request for your presence on the show by Stimmy OG. Yeah. He's like, what?
What did Joe LaCourrier say? See, sometimes I can't see. Laying down a bunt to the oppo is so much easier than trying to get a home run. What do you think? Swing away or lay a bunt? What's harder?
It depends who you're talking about. I'm imagining for Joey Gallo, it's laying down a bunt down the opposite field line, clearly, because look, we're not some geniuses that when we're watching at home and we're like, why don't we just lay down a bunt? And it's like the guys that can do it, do it. You know, who is it that did it a lot? Was it Rizzo? Anthony Rizzo, I feel like laid down a decent amount of bunts last year, even in the short time he was with the Yankees against the shift, right? But don't think that we're just some rocket scientists. All of a sudden, we're the only people in all of the world, like collectively as fans, but none of the 30 managers understand that you should do it.
Right.
You know, like they would be calling for it. It's not a thing. If they had the ability to do it, more guys would be doing it.
Okay. All right. I mean, look,
Yeah.
I mean, that was as we walked in here today, we were saying, oh man, what a light news day. Obviously, you know, NBA games are going nuts. And
we got breaking news.
Hey, finally, something.
Sean McVay says star defensive tackle will retire. Aaron Donald is done.
What?
No, I'm kidding. He's returning to the Rams next season. Why would Sean McVay retire for Aaron Donald? I got you. I got you, bro.
He was still staring at his phone like after you said.
Yeah.
I
was reading. I was like reading the whole.
So dude, Aaron Donald is back, running it back.
I mean, that was never a debate to me. He was never going anywhere.
No, I agree.
Kidding me?
I mean,
all that money.
He's under contract.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I'm saying like all that money, bro. Come on, no, there's no way. Baseball players should fake injuries if they want to only face one batter. It's not a bad play. It's not. I mean, talk about all ultimate pussification. Like sitting there, like, oh, my hand got a cramp in my hand after one batter. Are you just drawing squares again?
Who said that?
Scoop.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Payne. I'm like, that's called flopping, right?
Chris Payne coming in, staring down, is saying, I'm a tough guy. Okay, let's see how tough you are. Duck my fastball and then tuck your chin because it's coming to test your toughness. See, I don't agree.
So are you tough because you're throwing a fastball at me? How about I'll hit you with my bat?
Oh, April Fool's Day was Friday. You missed it.
No, it is Friday.
It is. I'm saying it is Friday, so you missed. Like you're 2 days early.
If only that
3 days early.
If only that situation would have presented itself in 4
Maybe it will.
Hours,
Maybe it will. Maybe you should watch yourself. So, I feel like Dave would be the easiest target.
I feel like there's a thing here, and go ahead. You're talking about the comments.
No, go ahead.
Scoop. What you just did, bro, is almost like it's like one of those things that you deserve to get slapped for, because I'm not going to slap Scoop.
You should Will Smith the fuck out of this guy.
Yeah, you get Will Smith. You get Chris rocked for that. Actually works.
I like that.
But Scoop, basically what you just did when you said April Fool's Day is Friday, it's like, yeah, bro. But let's just say I was gonna do an April Fool's joke on Friday. It's like name dropping in a fantasy draft. You don't
you don't say.
You don't be like, I can't believe this guy's still there. As I'm sitting there like nervous that he's gonna get picked right before mine. You just ruined my April Fool's joke potentially.
I mean, now it's just there's going to be a lot of fake pregnancies. There's going to be a lot of weird tomfoolery on April Fool's Day on Friday. But that's it, one at a time. Yeah, liaison. Jimmy just comments one word. I feel like, is he okay? Is he stroking out?
Said Avenel and then liaison.
Right. It's not. There's nothing to it. But anyway, this has been another show. It's been another good one. We want to thank you guys for joining.
Real quick, just I know this isn't a wrestling show.
LeBron is better.
But our wrestling announcer here, Dave, is going to be on Fight TV again this Thursday.
All right.
AAA and Dave's WrestleCon, and people should know. If you want to support the show, support Dave. Check it out Thursday. I think it's 6:00. Fight TV.
Yeah, man. They hit me up. That was the weirdest booking I've ever gotten.
Rob, you got something on your face. I think it's jizz.
If you like to taste it,
zip up, bro.
I'm sorry.
That was so cute. No, shout out to Rob for giving Dave the plug, though.
Yeah,
it is a big thing.
It was a plug. It was a booking that I've never gotten like this before. So obviously, I did the AAA event last week or 3 weeks ago now, and I just
got some juice coming in from
email coming in. What?
Yeah, Nets laying 14 points to the Pistons at home tonight. Brooklyn still just cannot cover at home. Got to take Detroit plus 14 tonight against. Yeah, Detroit is cover city, bro. And
appreciate you for the picks last night, Kyle.
Speaking of Detroit, they got the draft over the Packers. And
Detroit
else.
Getting Rock
and they
City.
also got, what else did they get?
They got the draft and they got hard knocks. So
and that's the show.
Detroit getting all that stuff. But yeah, I got an email from AAA again saying like, hey, we'll see you Thursday. And I'm just like, what? Like nobody told me anything, but yeah. So they're going to be invading WrestleCon this Thursday night. It's a big WrestleMania week. So just tune in later on around 2:00. You'll hear and see the latest edition of the Fight Factory that debuts later on. What is Giancarlo?
Chiming in on Jimmy's
Stanton. Just that's it.
Just
all right. All right. So Joe LaCory came in with
Joe
a
LaCory,
question.
it's Reggie White, by the way. Go
Who is the
ahead.
greatest force of nature defensively in the NFL? Is it still LT or Donald? Dave, the beard is tight today. Wait, is it what? It's tight today, buddy. The beard. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, that's my boy, Diego. My boy Diego, shaping it up, making it look sexy as Dina just bolts out of here. I mean, well, you got to let us know these things, you know? Like, I got to. Oh, it doesn't have to end at 12. I mean, now it has to end because there's nobody there. We are driving without a driver. It's okay. No worries.
It's all right.
All good. All good. So with that being said, it's been another great show. I'm glad we got some content out of this. I'm glad we talked about the NBA. I didn't get too fired up like I thought about it. Chris Payne saying, can we talk about how I hate my job? Well, look, man, just keep protecting and serving. You're almost done in 2 years, and then you can invest in Chop Sports and become a partner with us. You can do that, okay? I'll just put that a little extension on the table. You let me know what you want to do. And then, yeah, so that it's his damn turrets. What does it say?
Tourette's.
Oh, Tourette. Wow.
Turrets. Turrets.
Rotate that turret somewhere else. What movie's that?
Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like this video. All right, do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, do us that favor too, share this video, and again, later on, tune in to this channel. You're going to see the first Chop Sports Fight Factory with myself, Chris, Tommy D, and Rob, and we'll preview some WrestleMania coming up along with UFC Columbus review. So that's it. We got anything else?
I gotta take a piss really bad.
So do I.
know.
So we're about to race there. But yeah, so that's it. We'll see you guys tomorrow on a Wednesday.
Cheers, love.
All right.